Chapter 21, Section 1, Cities Grow and Change, Part 2. Please make sure to have your notes out through the Google Classroom to fill in as you listen to this video and or read through the section. Urban disasters and slums. The concentration of people in cities increased the danger of disasters because people and buildings were packed closely together. For example, in 1906, a powerful earthquake rocked San Francisco. The tremors caused large fires to tear through the cities. And these are the pictures you're looking at here from 1906. The Central Business District was destroyed. About 700 people died and nearly $400 million in property was damaged. But natural disasters were not the only source of danger for people of the cities. Poverty and disease also threatened their lives. As people flocked to cities, overcrowding became a serious problem. It was especially serious for families who could not afford to buy a house. Such families usually lived in rented apartments or tenements. A tenement is an apartment house that is usually run down and overcrowded. Old buildings, landlord neglect, poor design, and little government control led to dangerous conditions in many tenements. Poor families who could not afford to rent a place of their own often needed to move in with other families. This resulted in severely overcrowded tenements. Inadequate garbage pickup also caused problems. Tenants sometimes dumped their garbage into the narrow air shafts between tenements. There was little fresh air, and the smell was awful. Many tenements had no running water. Residents had to collect water from a faucet on the street. The water could be heated for bathing, but it was often unsafe for drinking. Sewage flowed in open gutters and threatened to spread disease among tenement dwellers. A neighborhood with such overcrowded, dangerous housing was called a slum. The most famous example was New York City's Lower East Side. But every city had slums. After visiting Chicago's slums, the British writer Rudyard Kipling wrote in disgust, "Having seen it in Chicago, I urgently desire never to see it again." Reformers attack urban problems. Many Americans were also disgusted by poverty and slums. Some people fought to reform or create changes that would solve these problems. They were known as urban reformers. The social gospel movement provided one basis for these beliefs. The social gospel movement aimed to improve the lives of the poor. Led by Protestant ministers, the ideas of the movement were based on Christian values. The most important concerns of the social gospel movement were labor reforms, or changes in working conditions, such as abolishing child labor. Some reformers inspired by the movement opened settlement houses. They helped the poor and immigrants improve their lives. Settlement houses offered services such as daycare, education, and health care to needy people in slum neighborhoods. And the majority of these people in the slum neighborhoods in need of daycare, education, and health care were immigrants. Many settlement house founders were educated middle-class women. Jane Addams, seen here, founded Chicago's Hull House in 1889 with Ellen Gates Starr. And that is a picture of Hull House in Chicago. Hull House soon became a model for other settlement houses, including New York's Henry Street Settlement House, pictured here, which Lillian D. Wald established in 1889. And that is Lillian on your screen. Political machines run cities. Political machines were another type of organization that addressed the problems of a city. A political machine is an organization that influences enough votes to control a local government. Political machines gain support by trading favors for votes. For example, machine bosses gave jobs or food to supporters. In return, supporters worked and voted for the machine. These supporters were typically new immigrants to the United States. Political machines also did many illegal things. They broke rules to win elections. They accepted bribes to affect government actions. The most famous political machine was Tammany Hall in New York City. It was led by William Marcy Tweed. Along with his greedy friends, Boss Tweed, seen here, and Tammany Hall, pictured to the left, stole enormous amounts of money from the city. Despite such corruption, political machines did a number of good things for cities. They built parks, sewers, schools, roads, and orphanages in many cities. In addition, machine politicians often helped immigrants get settled in the United States by helping them find jobs or homes. Many immigrants gratefully supported the political machine after this kind of help. In the next section, you will learn more about immigration. So this is the end of this video. At the end of this video, you should be able to answer a few questions. The first one, why did immigrants and farmers settle in big cities at the end of the 19th century? 2, what are 2 inventions that made the modern city life possible? 3, what urban problems did reformers try to solve? And finally, what were some advantages and disadvantages of machine politics? Keep in mind the problems faced by immigrants and cities, and also keep in mind Tammany Hall and William Marcy, quote-unquote, Boss Tweed. Make sure your Google document for your homework and your notes has been completed, and make sure to submit through the Google Classroom. And we'll see you tomorrow.